Story 1. I never miss an opportunity to test my balance. Curb raised higher than the sidewalk. I am balancing and walking on it. As a kid, we walked miles balancing on railroad tracks. Almost 70, and the same idea applies. Story 2. Every time I go to Target, I have to walk down the Lego aisle. I do not even buy them. I just like to look at the big, complicated sets and imagine building them. Story 3. Running up the basement stairs on all fours like a mysterious creature because it is dark and spooky down there. I am 19 years old. I know there is no monster, but my instinct says to go fast, and that is the fastest way. Story 4. Getting overly happy over small things, wiggling in my seat when the food is good, or playing with small kids' toys in general. I grew up restricting myself from everything. When I would get yelled at for even breathing loudly, I grew up pretty messed up. I want to make the best of the freedom I have, even in the smallest things like these. Story 5. Playing with toys such as Legos, Light-Bright, cool science kits, or other activity kits. I still need activities that are not yarn-based. Story 6. One of the bonuses of becoming a dad is that silliness becomes acceptable again. I can sing off-key and dance around, and as long as I am with my toddler, everyone just assumes I am a goofy dad. Story 7. Watching cartoons. As an adult living in today's world, I just need a break from reality and want something funny and innocent. Story 8. Buying dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. I am a legal adult who can cook actual food, but sometimes you just have a bad day and the only cure is dinosaur-shaped chicken. Story 9. Being fascinated by nature and using my imagination to think up creative scenarios. If I ever stop doing either one of those things, I am not sure I am really living. Story 10. Rainbow sprinkles on my ice cream. They look so cheerful and I like the crunch. Chocolate sprinkles are not an acceptable substitute. I want every color of food dye or no deal. Story 11. Wearing cartoon socks. I am 100% an adult, but if I see a pack with dinosaurs, Pikachu, or anything sparkly, I will grab it. No regrets. Story 12. Mimic the Olympic event I just watched, especially if it is gymnastics or figure skating. I must say, I can do that with confidence and then immediately fail in any remotely accurate or successful way. The only problem now is I break furniture and body parts. Story 13. Go into pet stores just to look at all the fish, reptiles, and other animals. Bonus points if there are cats too. Story 14. Still packing lunches like I had at school. Sandwich, chips, fruit, and some form of sweet or chocolate. Story 15. Looking for frogs and crayfish in creeks and ponds. I will never be too old to get excited about catching a frog. Story 16. Driving by farm animals and saying their names out loud. Hello cows, horses, have a nice day, goaty goats. Story 17. I will never pass up swinging on a nice swing set nearby. I literally tell anyone around to watch how high I can go. Story 18. Most things. Playing video games, owning plush toys, playing with toys, building Lego, drinking fruit juice, and so on. I get judged for it. The people who judge me are depressed and have lost all sense of whimsy. They can judge me all they want, but I am the one pitying them. Story 19. I have been living with my elderly parents for around 14 years to take care of them. What is so cool is that I get to pick the cereal at the grocery store. I always pick kids' cereal. My siblings and I had to take turns picking when we were kids. Story 20. I will never stop climbing trees. I have been scolded in parks by elderly people who seem to think that 35 is too old to be in a tree. Story 21. Every time I see my grandmother, I yell "Grandma" and run to her like I am 5 years old. She loves it, and it is my genuine response to seeing her. Story 22. I like to dam up small streams and ditches, create a small reservoir, and explore the dried-up part downstream. I have been doing this for as long as I can remember. As a kid, we dammed some pretty big streams. We were like little human urban beavers doing our mischief. I did a small one this past winter. Story 23. Playing video games used to help me deal with teenage problems or simply escape them. Now it feels more like a habit, perhaps even laziness. Story 24. Checking out those little vending machines with the toy capsules, the ones at the supermarket when you walk in and out. It is a silly thing, but it gives me such joy to get a little prize like that. I have a whole big collection of rubber dogs, aliens, and other creatures. Story 25. Picking up interesting items I find on the ground. I have a cool stick in the trunk of my car right now. Story 26. Blow straw wrappers at my husband at McDonald's. Yes, I am careful about direction and wind shear. Story 27. Catching bugs and showing them off. Look, everyone, I caught a firefly. Hold on. I am trying to get this spider to walk on my hand. No, do not squish the pill bug. I will take it outside. I was always going to be a biology enthusiast. Story 28. Lying in bed and doing that leg slam thing, do you know what I mean? I just get so comfortable sometimes that I become completely happy and giddy, and all that energy needs to go somewhere. Apparently, it is a self-soothing thing, which makes sense. Story 29. I buy gumballs from those twisty vending machines in supermarkets. Something about the twist and the drop sound brings me absolute joy. Occasionally, I will push the boat out and get a bouncy ball. Story 30. I am a nanny and sometimes I enjoy the activities I plan more than the toddler does. Watch me running through the sprinkler and slurping hose water while the child watches me. Entertained as if she is the grown-up watching the kid have fun. She joins in eventually. Sometimes you have to model play to get the child involved. Story 31. I do not chew gum very often, but when I do, I usually blow a big bubble or two. I never snap, crack, or chew with my mouth open on the train or in public. I chew gum in the car and at home. Story 32. Riding bikes. Not cycling, but riding bikes. If you are a Generation X or thereabouts, you should know what I mean. Though I do wear cycling clothing for comfort and to protect my hands and other areas from chafing, I still just ride, looking around as I go. I stop too, for example, watch a turtle laying eggs on the side of the trail or pick wild raspberries. Story 33. I still play imaginary games. Some I play with a friend have a simpler storyline, and others I play by myself have a more complex storyline. Story 34. I refuse to stop running or fast walking while looking back out of a room where I just turned the light off. They will get me if I do not run. Story 35. Blowing air into the straw of your drink to make bubbles while trying to balance tapioca pearls at the end of the straws. Do not ask me why it is a just cuz type of thing. Story 36. Running my fingers along a surface as I pass them, like walls, handrails, and fences. I will never stop. Story 37. When I go swimming, I do not just float around or lap swim like a boring grown-up. I swim like I am a kid again. Sometimes I am a mermaid. Sometimes I am in awe of the aquatic wildlife. How long can I hold my breath this time? Let us put on the goggles and swim like it is the last day of summer vacation before school. Story 38. Occasional unhealthy and nonsensical meal choices. Oreos for breakfast, cereal or peanut butter and jelly sandwich for dinner. Stuff like that. Story 39. Sleeping with a stuffed animal. You will pry Chubbs the bear from my cold, dead hands. Even then, you will not. He is getting buried with me. Story 40. Licking the spoon. My partner bakes me the most delicious chocolate cake and just hands me the spoon after they frost it. Story 41. I do not let my legs dangle off the bed when I sleep in case a monster tries to get them. I am 45 years old. To be clear, I do not think there is a monster under my bed, but monsters take on many forms and are clever. They could be sneaking around anywhere. Why give them an opportunity to catch a victim? Story 42. Collecting toys. I have accepted that my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder will never let me stop collecting toys. Story 43. There are so many. Having stuffed animals, watching cartoons, and allowing myself cute things that make me happy, like stuffed animal backpacks. Having toys. Being silly in general. Nobody can ever take this from me. If it brings you joy, why stop doing it if it makes you happy and hurts nobody? Anyone who judges is shallow, in my opinion. Story 44. Playing dress up. I go to Renaissance fairs specifically to play dress up and look at everyone else's costumes. Story 45. Wearing what I want. Yes, I will wear this cute strawberry romper. Light up shoes? Yes, please. Glitter everything. Story 46. Telling elderly women aged 65 and above that they look pretty. They become bashful and respond with compliments like, kind, handsome young man. Essentially, I use my youth to give compliments without worrying that they will think it means anything more than a simple kind remark. Story 47. I have a lot of trouble sleeping without my childhood stuffed rabbit. Buddy, I am 23 and he was a baby shower gift. Story 48. I eat cake whenever I want to. I will make myself a whole cake and eat it throughout a week. I have always loved chocolate cake with chocolate icing and sprinkles, so that's what I make. It was always my birthday choice too. I use the soda hack where it's just a cake mix and 12 ounces of soda. I use cherry cola so the cake has a chocolate cherry flavor. For the icing, I get a can from the store and whip it. It tastes like homemade icing and helps it stretch to cover the whole cake. Then I top it with sprinkles. Birthday cake all year, thank you very much. For anyone who might not know about the soda cake hack, when you mix in the soda, mix for 1 full minute at the lowest speed on your mixer, and then 5 full minutes at medium speed. Mine goes up to 10, so I use speed 5 for those 5 minutes. I set a stopwatch on my phone to watch the time. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. I usually have to bake it for about 40 minutes but still check at 30. Allow to cool completely before icing. There are many different combinations you can make with different cake mixes and sodas. Any soda with carbonation should work. Story 49. Plugging my ears when noise is painful. I do not care if I look silly. I prefer not to be in pain and to protect the hearing I still have. I have mild hearing loss due to an occupational accident, which also left me more sensitive to loud noises. Story 50. Sleeping with my stuffed animal. I am 26 years old and have always slept with a stuffed animal. I will die holding my stuffed animal. You will never get me to stop. Story 51. This one's a bit different. When we were little, my dad would tell us to put our hands in our pockets whenever we went into a store that had expensive or breakable items. To this day, if I walk into a store with breakable items, I slide my hands into my pockets. Story 52. Stomping on every crunchy leaf like it personally offended me. Crunch, crunch, crunch is my villain origin story. Story 53. Blowing bubbles. A few years ago in therapy, I was asked to do an activity that would make my inner child happy again. After thinking for a while, I suddenly imagined blowing bubbles, and it filled me with happiness. So I bought some bubbles and started blowing them. It made me very happy. Who cares what the neighbors think of a grown woman without children blowing bubbles in her backyard? Story 54. Last night, I took a running start in my house and slid across the dining room and living room in my socks. I am 54 years old. Story 55. I shouldn't, but I keep saying that's gay to things. Not bad things. I said it since before I even knew what gay meant. It has never been malicious, just a saying I grew up with. Story 56. Having a favorite blanket. Right now it is a sheet with stars on it, but I always have one that has just the right smell and texture. Story 57. I sometimes imagine large robots controlled by humans seated inside, battling each other complete with sound effects. Sometimes I get caught doing this in public. I am 47 years old. Story 58. Coloring doodle art and similar posters. I finally finished the mythology one. In various stages of completion are ones of fairy tales and unicorns. Story 59. Walking down and looking around the toy aisles in stores. I think it has to do with how I grew up poor. As a kid, I would always look but could never buy. Story 60. I'm 40 this year and I still enjoy cartoons. No apologies. Flintstones, Jetsons, Goof Troop, Franklin, Arthur. I love them. Story 61. Reading children's books, especially Dr. Seuss and Frog and Toad. Adult books are about miserable people killing and having affairs with each other, while children's books are about a worm driving an apple. We clearly see who is winning. Story 62. I refuse to get rid of my two favorite stuffed toys. One I have had since the day I was born, He was always my ride or die, and the other I got at age 12. I sometimes even snuggled with them in college or at least had them in my blankets nearby. I am 38 now. I do not sleep with them anymore because I have a husband for that, but they are currently on a shelf in my bedroom. I plan on giving them a long overdue washing before my surgery in the fall, so I have them nearby for comfort. Story 63. Taking a lollipop at my doctor's office. I get 31 injections when I go there, so getting a lollipop afterward feels pretty good. Story 64. Watching cartoons, not the newer ones, but the ones I loved growing up. Taking naps, a blessing and a curse now that I have arthritis. Mismatching clothes, not my fault as I have low vision, and colors are hard to distinguish. Having a real job. Story 65. 40-year-old man, uncle to many ranging from teenagers to grown adults. I still have dinosaur nuggets in my freezer because my nieces and nephews do not eat them. Story 66. Pokemon. Still buy the cards, still play the games. Just can't get over it. They are still pretty fun, albeit easier than the original cartridges. Just a nice, gentle grind of a game with cute animals and a little nostalgia. Story 67. Playing video games, watching anime, and reading comics. My mom used to mock my hobbies and told me to grow up. At 33, with a husband, kids, and a family, I am still doing the same things. Now they are remaking all the games from my childhood, and my kids and I get to enjoy them just as much as I did back then. The same goes for anime. The only thing I have held back on is comics. I am not quite ready to show them my mature content yet. Story 68. Saying cow and horse. When I see those animals in fields while I am in the car, I will also never stop doing the hand flying through the air gesture out the window of a moving car. Story 69. Watching cartoons. First, animation is a medium, not a genre, and should be seen as equal in quality and legitimacy to live action. Unfortunately, many people, especially in the United States of America, do not see it this way. Aside from anime and animated shows meant for adults, I still watch shows from Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Disney. Sometimes you need a good show where evil is defeated by the power of friendship. Story 70. Seeing all the people in their 70s and 80s here is making me happy. Cheers to you all for finding the child in you even at your stage in life. Story 71. When I meet someone, often my husband but not only, and we are walking towards each other, I do something silly like pretending to swim or walking funny. Usually, a dance move is included. I also use silly voices sometimes to highlight something. I sing silly songs occasionally. I come from a family where I had to be quiet except when my parents wanted me to perform and pretend to be someone else or do something silly. I am never giving up who I am. Story 72. I like to color when going out to eat. Edit for context. When going out to eat, I order from the regular menu but sometimes also order from the children's menu if it includes pages that can be colored with crayons. Then I proceed to color at the table. Story 73. Apparently ordering a Shirley Temple. The number of times I got one and people were like, "Wow, I love those as kids." Okay, I promise you can still love them. They didn't think it was too sweet or anything. They just thought of it as a kid's drink. Story 74. Ordering bubblegum ice cream whenever it is available. Having fruit snacks as a treat. Checking out new picture books when they are released. Getting excited for seasonal and holiday activities, such as pumpkin picking and making gingerbread houses. Blowing soap bubbles. Story 75. I eat Oreo cookies by twisting them apart, licking the cream center, and then eating the cookie parts. I am 49 years old. Story 76. Eating my sandwich crusts first to get them out of the way before the actually good part. Also, fluffernutter sandwiches in general. Story 77. Sometimes I ride on the back of the shopping cart while my husband pushes it. I usually do this when my back or feet really hurt. By making it a fun activity, it helps take some of the pain away. He loves me and I love him, so we make it silly. Story 78. Cover the blanket over my head when I go to bed. I am not scared of the dark anymore, but it still feels wrong leaving my head exposed when I sleep. Story 79. Watching cartoons, coloring, and collecting dolls. Healing my inner child and making myself happy, one hobby at a time. Story 80. Every place I have worked, I have at one point run around pretending I am an airplane. Now I am a bus driver for public transit. I have a list of each bus I have run back and forth on as an airplane. No, I will not stop. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.